Welcome back to this already the final segment of today's Price of Business. I'm chatting with Dan Shedd. He's back. He's been gone. He had a family situation that let him away for a while, but we're glad to have him back. And, of course, we've got Sigmund Kramer, our producer, joining us as well. Dan, welcome back. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and it is glad to be back.
Tell us real quickly, you had a topic for us today. What do you have in mind? According to Sigmund, it's a good one.
The Houston Chronicle released an article the other day stating that the Harris County Judge, Ed Emmett, has proposed a plan to transform the Astrodome into the world's largest indoor park.
Yes, I saw that, and I'm sitting there and I watched the press conference. They showed a lengthy amount of it, information about it in the press conference, and I'm watching it and I'm like going, wow, I mean, what a stretch. I mean, he's got some serious emotional attachment issues about the Astrodome. You got to think.
I would say so, but, as a native Houstonian, I love seeing the Astrodome being saved because it's a part of Houston, just like Fenway Park is a part of Boston. So anything that they can do to save the Astrodome, I'm all for it.
Well, that's interesting. I, for one, I love the Astrodome. I probably did more games at the Dome than any other sports venue in Houston combined. I think it had an incredibly unique character, et cetera. I just don't know how practical it is in the 21st century. And this idea of a giant indoor park is very interesting, but more in a bizarre sort of way. What's your thoughts, Sigmund?
I have none. I didn't grow up here. I have no connection to the Astrodome. I don't care one way or the other. I hear that it's got its own ecosystem right now. That's interesting. But for me, they could bulldoze it. I wouldn't care. Turn it into a gambling hall. Turn it into the world's largest burlesque hall. I don't care what they do with it. How's that?
You would care if they turned it into the world's largest burlesque hall. You'd be out there yelling and complaining that our families don't need that.
The world's largest gentleman's club.
Yeah, oh boy. So I'm sure you read about it, certainly more than I did. I found it more weird than exciting, but I appreciate your enthusiasm. And Emmett's been a guest on my program before, and I respect Judge Emmett. What are some of the possibilities, Dan?
Well, according to the article, the facility is going to have general exercise facilities, hike and bike trails on the upper levels, an amphitheater for concerts and just other stuff like that, special educational facilities for children. So Judge Emmett has a lot of ideas to transform the Astrodome into something special.
So let me ask you, as far as an indoor park, I mean, is that going to be feasible, do you think? Really? I mean, what's the maintenance going to be on something like that?
Is that going to be AstroTurf that they're going to be sitting on?
That would be awesome.
The Astro.
I am all for that. AstroTurf in the Astrodome. Why not?
The AstroTurf Park. That's going to be. You're going to leave a mark every time you go for a picnic. You're going to get up with some waffle butt and some. I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. I just, from a taxpayer's perspective, why wouldn't you come up with some way to use it that's going to bring in money rather than...
That's what I was thinking.
Rather than just be a drain, a constant drain. I mean, look, structurally it's not sound. I mean, they've had, many engineers come up with all sorts of dire predictions about the building itself. They said it's going to cost millions to tear down, right?
Yep.
And so that then they're saying, well, we might as well keep it, but it's got to cost even more to keep up. And to me,
but it doesn't even appear they're keeping up. You mentioned that ecosystem that isn't happening because of how high the quality of maintenance is.
Right, exactly right. And they've got all sorts of algae and all sorts of different animals. It's what I would do is I would just let it be. And let it turn into one of those, you see the TV shows on TLC, like, what happens after the city of New York.
I love that.
After everyone's
giant
dead for
abandoned
thousands of years.
dome. Just make sure it's not going to fall. Give it enough inspections to make sure it doesn't fall. But essentially becomes a kind of a giant. What do you call it? Tomb of Houston's past.
It could be like a time capsule, right?
Yeah.
I think they ought to bury all the ex-Astros there.
Oh wow!
Like make it a big, a big catacomb.
The largest indoor graveyard.
Yeah. Here you go, Ed, and you can charge. You can charge admission.
These little rectangle cuttings of where they had to pull up the AstroTurf.
Oh my
God!
I know you could start charging admission to. Hey, here lies the body.
Well, I'm not seeing Dan
Jeff Bagwell.
Is he looking rather sickly by now?
Dan's crying. He's in the corner. He's got his thumb in his mouth. He's sucking hard. He's crying. Poor guy.
Well, Dan, I think it was an interesting and even entertaining segment. Thanks to you. We're glad to have you back.
Yep, I'm glad to be back, and I had fun discussing it with you all today.
And next week he's going to talk about what they're going to do with Astro World over there, right?
Oh yeah,
you can figure out what to do with that.
That sad reminder of what? Why did they do that?
Yep.
Anyway, you think of all the tax-exempt deals they do left and right, and they couldn't do one for Astro World.
I think they had
large without an amusement park. It's just embarrassing.
Well, I have an idea. Well, we've got a lot of Islamic terrorists probably coming up through the southern border, right? Coming in here. Why don't we make it Mecca World and turn it into like the world's largest terrorist theme park?
Oh my God! Again, folks. When you write your nasty letters and emails, please make them out to Sigmund Kramer and not Kevin Price.
Come on,
that's
a great idea.
It is a great idea, according to Sigmund Kramer. All right, when we come back tomorrow, much more for you. Gentlemen, thanks for wrapping up the show with me. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day and they spend it sensibly right here at this station.